Women are courageous, strong, powerful, magical, amazing, beautiful, spiritual, nurturing, kind, compassionate, graceful, fierce, feisty, kind-hearted, tender, sweet, playful, wild, perfect in all their imperfections. Women are uniting, breaking down the walls of comparison, standing up, rising up, showing up, taking up their space in this one world. Women are here. Hello, all you amazing souls, and welcome to another 5 minutes of wellness here on Asanki Soul TV. I am Thalia, and I am going to be sharing today's topic is all about triggers. Let's get into it. So why this is coming up right now is because last week I was really triggered. If you've been following me on Instagram, I've been sharing a lot about it, and something that I've been really diving deep into is really healing my relationship to my body, which has been the premise of how I started this journey of wellness, of how I got into this in the first place. I've shared very honestly and openly about my relationship with my body and how I've self-diagnosed myself with a disordered eating behavior, which is just a relationship that is just very toxic. And I run to food for comfort. I'm an emotional eater, a binge eater. Food is my source of comfort, my safety. When I don't feel like dealing with life, I run to food, and it's always just been something that I've learned from a very young age. I noticed in my family structure, we celebrate with food. Every time things are really good, we eat, we celebrate. And through that learning, I've learned that, when things are bad, we eat to feel better. And I learned that from a young age, and that became my coping mechanisms and stuff as I've witnessed and I've watched and I've modeled family members do this, and I just thought this was normal. And then I got into, as I grew up and managing and understanding my body, and I was never fully overweight, but I was never the skinny girl. And so I was on diets for a very long time. Throughout my entire teens, high school, I was always on a diet or trying to lose weight, and I've never really found a sustainable relationship with food and with my body. And over the last 4 years or so, I ditched the diet culture, and I ditched the diet really digging in deep, understanding the root of my problems, root of my traumas and all of that, and understanding why I run to food for comfort. And it's been really interesting, and I've learned a lot and I've healed a lot, but at the same time it still pops up here and there because it's so conditioned in me. And lately I've been really diving into noticing these old patterns coming back up, running to food when I don't feel well, noticing that my body, I've picked up some weight over the last year and a half, COVID, everything, and how that made me feel. And I still have a really deep belief that if I don't look a certain aesthetic, or if I don't weigh a certain number, I am not going to be lovable. And it hurts me to actually admit that out loud, because I thought I've done so much work with this. But as you know, that this journey is a continuous journey. We learn things and we process things at different levels, and now I'm really on a mission to heal my relationship with my body, how I see myself, and I want to be able to love myself at any weight, at any size, and find my worth in who I am, not in what I look like. And then also understanding that my health and the way I nourish my body is equally as important, because this is my temple. This is what keeps me going, and I love my body, and my body's kept me going for so many years, and I want to keep that going, especially now with everything that's happening in the world with this virus and things like, all we have is our bodies, our body temples, and how we nourish it, and how we look after it will ultimately show us how we look after ourselves. And why this triggered me so much was because I reached out to a good friend of mine who's reached out to me and one of my clients, and she is a nutrition practitioner, a nutritionist, and a fitness trainer. And I reached out to her and I expressed where I'm struggling and how I'm struggling with food at the moment. And she was like, she'd love to help me, and she devised a beautiful plan that will just help me to, you know, eat better and understand what I'm putting into my body. And that sounded well, that sounded amazing, and I was like, yes, I'm here for it. I want accountability. I don't want to hide my struggles anymore. And she sent me all the information, and when I read it, I was completely triggered. Like, I just saw another diet. I just saw myself failing at another diet. I felt all those old thought patterns come back in, like I'm not good enough. Diets are designed to make you fail, because that's what they are designed to do. Diet culture, diets are a multi-billion-dollar industry, just wanting you to fail so that you keep coming back. And so all of those things came to my mind, and I was like, how can I teach this and guide other people if I'm still struggling with this? So imposter syndrome popped up, and I was just beating myself up for not being there yet, for doing so much work on myself, but yet I'm still struggling. And I had to be really honest, and I had to be really gentle with myself and kind to myself, and tell myself, like, you know, it's okay to feel these things, it's okay to feel this way, and it's okay to ask for help. You know, coaches need coaches too. I'm not perfect, I'm still struggling, but I'm learning, and through me sharing this, I get to help and give permission to for others to just, you know, be honest with where they are on their journey, because lying to yourself is ultimately just going to keep you stuck in a very unhealthy cycle. And while reading through that, and I was just so triggered, and I was just so overwhelmed, I went for a walk, I sat with it, I placed my hand on my heart, and I just connected with that little girl that was just felt that no matter what she did, no matter what she ate, she was just never worthy and lovable. And then I expressed how I was feeling with my friend who was helping me, and I shared this too with her, and it was so freeing to be so honest and to share that, you know, these things are still triggering me. This is how I responded, this is how I acted, but I'm just so much more aware of it now, and I want to meet my awareness with love, with loving awareness, with loving compassion and grace, and try my very best, and not try to put this expectation on to myself to be perfect. And so we designed a new plan, and then one that's not so structured, and one that's not going to be counting calories, not going to be counting all the things, somewhere where I can really express food freedom, be creative with what the foods I'm eating, and understand what foods I'm putting into my body. And this is still a journey that I'm on, and I am going to share this journey with you. So please, you know, join me over on Instagram. I post most frequently on there, on this journey that I'm on now, on really expanding my awareness and loving myself through my triggers, and learning to what they are teaching me through this process. So far I've learned that I need to accept me at any size and any shape, and not take on what people think, what people say. People are going to make comments all the time, and I'm not trying my very best not to take that personally. As long as I feel good and I feel healthy and I can move my body, that's important. And then focusing on how I want to eat and what makes me feel alive, and listening to my hunger cues and being more intuitive with what I'm eating, and noticing when I do want to binge and when I want to eat the sweets and crave that, because probably somewhere during my day I'm suppressing something, or I'm not eating enough, and really understanding what my body's communicating to me on a real visceral level, understanding my hunger cues, like I said, knowing when I'm full and noticing when I'm restricting, and noticing when I'm overeating, and what is the elements externally that's making me act these ways. And so there's a lot to dive in here, and I'm excited and scared to dive into this also, because food has been my comfort for so long. So there's a part of me that's really scared to expose myself. There was a lot of shame that's come up as well. So there's a lot going on, and I don't know the answers, but I know that not hiding anymore is the process to figuring out what's going to work best for me, and also understanding that what works for me may not work for another person, but expressing this and being vocal about it, and understanding that, you know, our bodies are all made differently. We have different bone structures, we have different shapes, we have different sizes, and to celebrate all of that, knowing that I'm doing the very best to keep myself as healthy as possible, and not shame myself when I do want to eat the quote unquote bad things, and, you know, everything in moderation, and trusting and listening solely to what my body is speaking to me. And so I want to leave you all that, and I want to ask you, how is your relationship with your body and with food specifically? What things do you eat? How do you feel when you eat certain things? Do you feel bloated afterwards? Do you feel full? Do you feel obligated to eat certain things around certain people? Like, there's a lot of factors here, and I want you to know that this is a safe space, and I want you to share where you're at on your journey with food, and how you relate to it, and how you've maybe noticed you've been conditioned to relate to food based on culture, based on family, or anything else like that, and what working well for you, and how do you stay motivated. I'd love to know, and I'd love to just share our experiences together, because we are ultimately in this together, and we get to support one another, and we get to love each other, not shame and guilt each other based on food shaming, body shaming, and just criticizing people on how they look, because there's so much more to it. So I'm leaving you all that. I know this has been a lot, but I just want to know what this has brought up for you. Has this conversation even triggered you? I'd love to dive deeper into all of this. I'm sending you so much love, and please comment down below, share this with a friend that may be struggling too, and I'd love to connect, because this is something that I'm really passionate about, and something I'm doing for me.